Can anybody beat Cloud9 at this point? Can anybody take a game off of Cloud9 at this point? That's the question that I left walking away with this weekend. There's no need for a top 5 list today of best plays. We can cover the 2 series this weekend as we're talking through the clear topic that's going to be on everybody's mind. Can anybody take down the Goliath? Coming into this weekend, I don't think FlyQuest was the team that people anticipated was going to be the one to do it. I didn't even see them throw up predictions on the LCS broadcast. I'm assuming because everybody was just going to pick C9 3-0. But I think after last week, some of us thought it might be a little bit closer than that, at least slightly. Like they were able to take a game in a best of 3, so in a best of 5, like hopefully that should help. Plus, after you had just lost the prior week, hopefully you learn and bounce back. But the problem with that is the flip side of the coin is the team that won realizes the few things that FlyQuest was able to do right and slams the door shut on them the next time around. And that's exactly what we saw. Honestly, probably the most brutal best of 5 that I think I've watched in LCS history. Again, I only started watching since 2018. And even the Team Liquid era, like they weren't stomping people as much. I think the finals against 100 Thieves was one that I remember fondly. 2020 C9, I remember them being like really good. Like the question was, will they drop a game? But like I need to go back and rewatch some of that. But even then, it didn't feel as vicious as this one did. Like this one felt like legitimate bullying. And maybe it's just because we haven't seen it in so long. But it's like, I was rude. It was rude. Had there been no pauses, that series would have been done in less than 2 hours. That's how fast it was. Every game ended under 30 minutes. The last 2 games, the second you thought there might be a little bit of fight, C9 would get Baron and end the game. Like it felt like watching T1 at an international event facing up against a North American team. Like it felt that drastically different in terms of the skill discrepancy of both of them. So I'm not saying that FlyQuest is not going to be the team that could possibly take down C9. Maybe they bounce back. But we've seen a best of 3 and a best of 5 now. I just don't think it's going to be them. Like they're competing for their boot camp at this point, and I think that's enough for them to walk out of this split happy, especially with the younger squad. Speaking of the other younger squad, DSG versus Sentinels this weekend saw DSG going in as pretty heavy favorites. And after game 3, I think most of us thought that, okay, these young guns are the real deal. They're going to be able to seal it. But unfortunately, getting rookies in that first high pressure moment when you really need to close the deal, it fell apart at the last minute, which honestly I think could be beneficial to them in the long run to take that lesson now before it's too late. Like you get it. Now you get to have a run through the losers bracket potentially as Sentinels gets to go up against Cloud9 and get their clocks cleaned likely. But for DSG, I think the possibility of them beating C9 is still there, assuming they can keep cool heads. I love how innovative their draft, well, not innovative, like nothing in League is really innovative all that much anymore, but just I love their philosophy on drafting. It just felt like the pressure got to the moment for Kryra in that series where he needed to push a little bit more to have some of those early invades that just didn't work out for him. Sajed unfortunately talked on Twitter about how he didn't live up to the moment either when it came down the stretch. But there were enough positive signs that I'm seeing, okay, I think they could get this done, or at least like get possibly to finals if they double down on the things that worked well in games 1 through 3 and just grow from there. Like again, similar to FlyQuest's younger squad, we notably haven't seen them play up against C9 in this type of setting. So maybe the curveball coming in, like we can see a similar thing to what FlyQuest nearly did. Well, they only did for 1 game in that series. So I'm not going to say DSG's there. If I had to assign a percentage, it's like I feel 30% confident that DSG could somehow beat C9. For Sentinels, I feel even less confident. Sentinels might have beat DSG, and this is not to take away from them in any way, shape, or form. They clutched up down the stretch. Hambach is an incredible jungler. And when you look at who was the best jungler of this entire weekend, which was Blabber, just putting Griffin in the ground, I'm expecting this matchup to kind of do a similar thing. But Hambach is like the one guy that you look at in the LCS right now saying, yeah, he might be able to match him. I mean, maybe Inspire, but even then, like the state of Lyon right now is a little bit iffy. We'll touch on them in a second. You can make the argument that Rahel's peaks might be bigger than Sven's at the moment, but support-wise, I've seen Huhi versus Vulcan enough to know That's probably not going in Huhi's way. I've seen Impact versus Thanatos last year, and I don't think that's going Impact's way either, despite him stepping up. Mid lane, no. Darkwings is great. Cannot wait to see him go up against APA, but maybe Sentinels will premier. We'll talk more about that matchup on Friday, but I don't have all that much confidence in Sen, given how the early parts of the series went for them. I think a more experienced team closes them out this past weekend. Good on them that they get to have their boot camp and they get to grow, but I'm not sold that they're going to be the team to beat C9 either. So all attention then goes to the losers bracket and the two teams that are coming in that honestly, like, I'm just trying to set the stage for this upcoming weekend because the matchups that we are getting are freaking incredible. Both of these two remaining teams have already gone toe-to-toe with C9. We'll start with Lyon first. They've got a lot of growing pains. I mean, let's be honest with Lyon. The main reason that they are starting in this losers bracket is because of the mid lane differences happened so far. Now, that's not saying that Saint can't improve as this tournament goes on, especially with 2 weeks off. We have seen this multiple times in LCS history where teams that just get 2 weeks of time to relax, chill a bit, learn from your mistakes, come back in with 2 weeks of fresh practice. They come in swinging. Could easily see that happening because Inspired's playing pretty well right now. Like, it's not on him that they're losing. Berserker, he's playing like Berserker typically does, but it's just been a few moments here and there that you look at it and it's like, okay, well, Dokka's still gonna probably fall behind, but it's all on Saint to step up. Like, that's entirely the difference here if they want to stand a chance against C9. Doable. I would say probably, in my opinion, maybe I'm biased on this, but I would say the second highest percentage to possibly take down C9 given what we've seen so far this split. But unironically, and I know this feels like it might be a little bit early to tee this ball up, but I genuinely do feel like Team Liquid is the only team that can stop Cloud9. They are the roster that we look at and say, okay, the pieces are there. Mid lane, Quig could get the better of APA. Jungle, Jose Dioto's performing incredibly well right now and could go toe-to-toe with Blabber. Top lane, you do look at Morgan as somebody that should be able to keep up with Thanatos. If not, maybe challenge him a little bit, especially as he gets more accustomed to North America. And bot lane, Yon and Core JJ over Sven and Vulcan. Yeah, absolutely. We saw it in their initial series that yes, TL can get a lead on C9 as long as they don't chuck it and mentally throw themselves out the window at that point. Yeah, they should be fine. They feel like the ones. It almost feels like destiny to a certain extent that TL is the only one that can stop C9 from winning this, purely because they're also the only team that has ever also won lock-in tournaments. Like, there's only been 2 prior to this. TL's won them both. And I know there might be C9 fans that are watching this saying, dude, really? You made a whole video dedicated to stopping C9 from winning, or trying to like find a way or talk yourself into somebody else being able to take them down. Take it as a sign of respect. Your team is so freaking good right now relative to everybody else. It's what is exactly expected of your roster in this moment. That C9 should be good early. You have the benefit of having everybody together from the offseason, no visa issues. You come in, everybody was mocking you for the solo queue and the NA tag team stuff. You come in and say, well, guess what? You can't beat us on the Rift when it matters. When we're 5v5 as a squad, we flow better, we team fight better, we set up at objectives better. We are just better than everybody else right now. And I've seen Jamada and I've seen others saying, oh, C9's like possibly the best team in the West. I don't want to get into the conversations of Europe versus North America right now. I want to focus purely on NA, because I think one of the dangers that we have as a region is the second like this moment comes, every time we go, oh, but I don't want to see them internationally because they've choked historically. Fuck that. We'll talk about whoever qualifies for first stand and how they will do in relation to Europe when they actually qualify. And that's not until after finals is done of LCS lock-in. And I'm trying to find a way for somebody to possibly, at least at a minimum, I'm not even saying beat. If C9 earns it, which right now it looks like they might, good for them. But I want somebody to step up and challenge them. I want them to be tested before they go into that tournament if they earn that right. And when I'm looking at all the teams remaining, it legitimately feels like we are destined for another TL C9 matchup. And maybe I'll be wrong on that. Maybe TL truly can't put the pieces together in that moment. I don't want to go on and pander anymore in this video. Like, I've already made the point very clear. I've hit the narrative home of where I think the state of the LCS is right now in terms of the team's relation to each other. It's just funny to me that an organization that is struggling to field a Call of Duty roster because they're undercutting the market so bad that even tier 2 players and people that own tier 2 teams are telling them, you really should not take this deal. For a team that can't figure out their Valorant side because they can't, like, for whatever reason, like, they're just all their esports outside of League of Legends are in a horrible state. The fan base not happy with them in any way, shape, or form. But their league content is peak right now. Their league Rift performances are peak, and they are clearly the favorites to take all of this. It's one of the few situations where if you ask people, hey, would you take C9 or the field? They're genuinely taking C9 to win this. But dear God, for the field, I need you to step it the hell up across the board, on the Rift and off. Give us something entertaining, because if I have to watch what C9 just did to FlyQuest for 2 more series as they take belt to ass to every team in this league, oh God, I'm scared.